Good morning, Starshines. My name is DH, my pronouns are they, them, and this is the Cozycast, episode 6. Today is Monday, May 6th, and this is FlossTube. No, wasn't funny? Okay, alright. We'll just keep going. Yeah, I'm giving in, and we're just calling this a FlossTube with a little bit of knitting now. So that said, let's jump right in. So first up, let's do our community shoutout. Today's community shoutout is going to Bob Bledsoe of Green Room Pythons. I told you that this was going to be a little bit of a mismatch of the different channels that I watch. Might be crafting, might not be crafting. So I wanted to shout out Bob at Green Room Pythons. He is a very great entertainer, great educator. He keeps mostly ball pythons, as well as some other species that we are very, very interested in, like a super dwarf retic. Baby. I really especially love the approach that he takes to introducing people to snakes, making them seem approachable and not scary. He actually takes people who have said that they are afraid of snakes and introduce them very quietly and gently to the ball pythons in his collection, and in many cases has changed their opinion of snakes completely. So definitely check out Bob. His channel is really entertaining, really educational, and just really interesting. Does a wide variety of content, and it's pretty funny sometimes. Sometimes it's a little cringe. Bob, you're a little cringe, but we still love you. So yeah, so that is our community shout out for this week, which means it is time to get into the projects. All right, the projects. I actually have 2 finishes this week, this fortnight. I always say this week, it's a 2-week period, which actually makes it more difficult to keep track of where I was on stuff before where I was between filmings, I should say, because I wasn't keeping the best notes as to where I was for each podcast, because 2 weeks seems like a long time, because it is a long time, but also it always feels like no time at all has gone by the point that I have to film another Cozycast. So yeah, I have 2 finishes. Let's check those out. The first finish is the little project that I started for 24 hours of CrossStitch. So this was an incredibly fast stitch for me, because I started it just a couple of weekends ago, and already finished. So this is it. So this is Slow Down by Mama Witch CrossStitch. I did make quite a few edits to it. I removed the wreath around it and changed a couple of the colors. Especially, I don't know how well the color is going to show up right now, but the mug and the mushrooms were more of a bright red, whereas I turned them more to this like pumpkin-y reddish orange. Oh, okay, you can see it better that way. We're still dealing with the chair situation. My chair that I usually film in is replacing the chair that I usually sit in. So I am sitting in a different chair at a different angle. The chair saga continues. So yeah. So this was a super quick stitch. It's on this absolutely beautiful piece of printed Aida. It's an 18 count Aida. So it's my first time doing 18 count, and I absolutely adored it. I am definitely hooked on doing small count, and I have plans for a couple more 18 count projects in the future, at least one of which I'm going to talk about in the plans section. My other little finish was just a little tiny piece. This took me 3 days to do, and it's just this little cute baby from the Witchy Stitcher. The pattern originally called for an orange, in where the green is, but I prefer lime green, so we're doing lime green. And the ghosts are actually glow-in-the-dark thread, whereas the text is white. So that's really cute. I didn't leave myself a ton of space at the top here, so I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to mount or frame this. I'm not even sure where I'm going to put it. I might put it in the background of one of my videos. I might put it up by my desk. I'm not sure. It's really cute, and I really enjoy it. It was such a fun, fast stitch because it's really just the 3 colors. 4 colors actually, because you stitch the eyes in black just to give them a little bit more depth. So yeah, that one took me 3 days. It's only about 700 stitches. And yeah, I got that from the Witchy Stitcher's Patreon. If you're not a member of the Witchy Stitcher's Patreon, it's a really great deal because once a month she brings back previous Patreon patterns to the graveyard, and you can purchase them again for a small donation to a charity of her choice, which I think the next graveyard actually goes up in a couple of days, so I'm excited to see that. Because I love the Witchy Stitcher, love the vibes. But yeah. So those are my 2 finishes, just 2 cute, quick little things. We are going to get into some whips right now. These are not all of my whips, as always. These are just the ones that I've been actively working on in the last couple of weeks, so you can see kind of some progress. The first one, I haven't done as much on it as I really wanted to, because I don't know, I've just been working on other stuff. I put deadlines on other stuff, so I've been working on that more. But I really want to get more done on this because I'm really enjoying it. Every time I pick it up, I'm like super enjoying it. And that is Those Who Wait from Stitch Wit. All right, slight camera change. I'm gonna see if I can get some better lighting this way. So Those Who Wait by Stitch Wit. Oh yeah, that's better lighting, I think. And now you can see my beautiful face while I'm talking. So this is a huge, for me, full coverage piece, almost full coverage piece. There are just a few stitches that are left in the ivory Ada. But I'm going to put up a picture here of where I was 2 weeks ago. So you can see I've gotten quite a bit done. I actually have even more done over here that's not in the frame, but I kind of wanted to finish this section that's in the frame first completely before moving on. So yeah, I love this piece. It was very generously gifted to me by Heather from Stitch Wit, and every time I pick it up, it's just some combination of the big chunks of color with the Zweigart, which I've never used Zweigart before. So this is 14 count ivory Zweigart. Something about that combination, it's so pleasant to work with, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So that is Those Who Wait by Stitch Wit. My next whip up was my Whip Go call for March, and I am going to talk a little bit about Whip Go in the plan section, but this was called for both numbers for, not March, May. We're in May. Holy crap, we're in May. This was called for both numbers for May, and this is my Spooktacular sampler from Just CrossStitch magazine, the Halloween 2022, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. That's the angle. So I'm going to put a picture up here of where I was 2 weeks ago. As you can see, I just started doing the alphabets at the top. I have already completed, there's like a house and 2 figures down here. I've already completed that. So I got a little bit more of the alphabets done. I love this little spider. It just makes me so happy every time I see it. So my plan is I'm just going to continue down this side and then do the second side because I can get about half of it into the frame at a time, which is good. So there's like clouds, and there's a big spooky tree here and some birds and things like that I will stitch, and then I'll move it down, and then there's a poem at the bottom. I'm really, really enjoying this stitch. I really like samplers. I don't know why. There's something about stitching them and something about the look of them that I really like. Like I said, samplers with a twist is probably one of my top genres of cross stitch. So I'm really loving this one. And I kind of want to get this done by the end of May. I am pretty much on track to do that, but then again, I might get derailed by working on some other stuff. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself for deadlines, except for the next whip that's coming up that I am putting pressure on myself for a deadline. So yeah, so this is the Spooktacular sampler from Just Cross Stitch magazine, Halloween 2022. I did make quite a few changes to the chart, as it was originally charted for a 32 count, I believe, linen, with a lot of fancy floss and partial stitches. I actually recharted it to be DMC on 14 count with all full stitches. And then I immediately hecked myself up and did partial stitches for this little star here. Why do I not like myself? So yeah, there it is. It's pretty. I love it. So the next whip that I have coming up is one that I am working on with Moon Phased. I'm so excited. I mean, you've probably seen this one all over the place. You've probably seen it finished by now. I know a couple of people have gotten through the frame already, but this is the Deadly Aquarium salve from Lola Crow. I almost said the Witchy Stitcher again. I just have the Witchy Stitcher on the brain. So this is a Lola Crow, and this is the frame for the Deadly Aquarium. The first exhibit, or clue, comes out May 24th. So the idea is to have the frame done by the 24th, which I think I'm pretty much on track. I might be like a couple of days behind. But because if you want to get there, the daily stitching goal is like 145 stitches. So it's not a beast for me to catch up on. I just need to sit down and do it, which is, of course, my crafting mantra. I just need to sit down and do it. So the problem with showing this is because it's the frame for the whole piece, you're kind of working around the outsides and the middle. So it's hard to show in one frame because I've had to move the frame so much. So this is where I am at right now. I'm working on, this is the bottom right corner, where it looks like something has busted out of the aquarium, which I'm very excited to see what that is. So I've got to do these two pillars here, and then there's a seagull boy here, and then I'll be finished this corner, and then I'll move up, do the top corner, and then I'll do the middle, and then I'll be finished. So I'm just over halfway there. I think I'm at like 52% for this boy. And I have until the 23rd basically to finish it. If I don't finish it by the 23rd, it's not the end of the world. The pattern's not going away or anything like that. It's not a hard deadline. It's just, you know, trying to push yourself a little bit. So yeah, and I love the colors in the like algae and the background of the tank. I just think that those colors blend really, really well. And once I get the columns in, it's just going to look so crisp and so neat. And I'm very excited to stitch the little seagull boy. Yeah. And then this is I made matching needle minders for myself and Moon for the Deadly Aquarium. Oh, this one is upside down. It's sea life holding knives. I had fun with it. So yeah, so I'm really enjoying this stitch as well. I just think that the colors play really well together. It's a good blend of what I call realism in cross stitch, and also embracing the kind of pixel nature of cross stitch. So I'm really excited to see how it comes together. I'm really excited to get into the exhibits, and I'm super enjoying this stitch. I'm super enjoying everything I'm working on. I'm in a really good place in terms of cross stitching. So those are my 3 cross-stitch whips that I'm working on. And I've actually been doing a little bit of knitting. So if you have been following the channel for a while, you know that I am chronically ill, and I've been having a lot of problems with my hands, specifically hand tremors, hand pain, and it's been really bad when I've been knitting, and I haven't been able to knit socks in a long time, which has been the biggest kind of drag for me. So I had mentioned this on a call with some crafting friends, and someone had suggested trying straight needles. So I was like, okay, I've always heard that circular needles are better for you in terms of fatigue, because you can take the weight of the project off of the needles and it rests more on the cable. But then I started kind of looking into it, and looking into the old Shetland styles of knitting, supported knitting with a belt or a sheath. And of course, those were like the cottage industry knitters who knit professionally, and obviously had to stave off fatigue and pain because they were knitting for, 19 hours a day. So I looked into some of those methods, and I decided to do a little bit of science. And I'm going to post a full video about science, because I was very thorough. I took notes, I timed myself, I actually noted where the pain was in my hands after a 10-minute stint of knitting on each method, and where the pain was, how intense the pain was, and if there was any tightness or discomfort otherwise. So it's going to be an interesting video. And what I found was that knitting with straights is actually the most comfortable, least painful, and most sustainable method for me at the moment. I haven't tested smaller gauge needles. The smallest I've gone is a 3.75 millimeter, which is what I did all of my tests on. So it's going to be interesting. I think my next bit of science will be to do that, to test different diameters of needles and see if thinner needles are more painful or thicker needles are more painful, that kind of thing. But in the meantime, I have been getting some knitting done, it's just exciting. I've missed it a lot, and I don't know if it's the novelty of knitting with the straight needles that's made it so enjoyable, or if the straight needles actually are impacting the comfort enough that it's making it more enjoyable to stitch. I don't know, but I'm trying not to overthink it and just enjoy what I'm doing, because obviously I'm prone to overthinking, and I want to I'm really hard on myself mentally, and if something's working, I always want to tell myself that it's not actually working and I'm just making it up. So that's kind of what's going on now with my knitting. But I will show you guys what I have been working on, and I've gotten actually quite far on it. I didn't start a new project. The temptation to start a new project was very strong, but I didn't start a new project. Instead, I pulled out a project that I knew would be easily adaptable to straights, which is the Usagi pullover by Harper B. I'm going to put up a picture of it here. I am making this for my good friend Moonfaced in beautiful moon blue, and the pattern does call for knitting most of it in the round, but it is quite an easy adaptation to knitting flat. So that's what I did. I started on one of the sleeves just to give myself a smaller piece to work on. So this is how far I've gotten so far. And you can see it's this absolutely gorgeous petrol blue. The yarn is Drops Baby Merino, which working with 100% merino is definitely a departure for me. It's something new that I've never done before, and I'm really enjoying it. It's super squishy, super plush, super lush. It's got this, so the sweater on the sleeves has this beautiful lace detail. It's actually quite an easy pattern to memorize. It's an 8-row repeat, which means only 4 of the rows are actually charted. And it's, as you can see, it's pretty easy to see what you need to do next. It's got this beautiful little cable detail. And really the cabling is the only thing that's kind of slowing me down. I don't use a cable needle. It's a 1-stitch cable. A cable needle for that would be kind of annoying. But that's the only thing that's been slowing me down with the straights. So I have been knitting this flat on straight needles. And it's just been really enjoyable. I've been picking it up, doing a few rows here and there. I've only been working on this for a few days, off and on, and it kind of feels like it's flying off the needles compared to how slow it was going before. So I'm not gonna start anything new. I'm not gonna pick up anything else, because I had started a new cardigan, the beginnings cardigan, and that didn't really help. But again, I was using circular needles, so I don't know. Right now, I'm enjoying this. This is comfortable for me. It's not triggering the hand tremors. It's not triggering any pain. And I'm gonna ride with it. So I'm working on Usagi pretty much exclusively. Yes, exclusively in terms of knitting, and just doing a few rows here and there. For me, knitting is more mindless than cross-stitch. So when I really just need a brain break, I'll pick up the knitting instead. I do have Those Who Wait, which is also pretty mindless cross-stitch, but I've been reaching for the knitting instead. And actually, now that I've got it in my hands, I'm kind of like, ooh, maybe I'll like sit down and knit for a little bit. Is my knitting mojo returning just as I have crossed over into the dark side of FlossTube? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay. All right. So, all right, so let's briefly talk plans. And I say briefly because I've already been recording for longer than I thought I would. I thought this would be a pretty short one, but who knows? So let's briefly talk plans. First up, WhipGo. I discovered WhipGo a couple of months ago. I was very excited because, as you all know, I love gamifying my whips, gamifying my crafting, and it's just been, it seemed like the perfect thing for me. However, I'm finding in practice the experience of actually doing the WhipGo, it's not really vibing with my style of crafting. I don't know if it's that I don't have enough whips, which, I don't have enough whips, but like, I think for WhipGo to be the most effective, you kind of need to have enough whips to fill it out, or to almost fill it out. And it is more of a method of making sure that you put your hands on whips throughout the year that you might not have otherwise touched. Whereas for me, I only have a few things going on, and I tend to work on those in pretty solid chunks. So it just, it's not having the desired effect. And I think because I end up focusing on a project and then finishing a project, I have to then go and rearrange my board every month, which I think kind of defeats the point of having the board in the first place, the board that you set up at the beginning of the year. So I don't think I'm going to be really following the WhipGo model any longer. So I was turning my thoughts towards what are some other ways that I can gamify my knitting, my cross stitch. It begins. Other ways that I can gamify my crafting. And one YouTuber that I love, who I think does this really, really well, is Crafty Gaming Jamie. If you haven't checked out Jamie, I'm going to leave a link to her YouTube channel down below. But basically every week she spins a wheel, and whatever project comes up on the wheel is what she works on for that week or that chunk of days until she does a certain amount on it, and then she spins again. Which I thought was really interesting. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try that, because I already use a wheel spinner for when I'm dealing with executive dysfunction. When I don't know what to work on, I'll spin a wheel. But then I realized that I don't really need to do that. Again, I don't really have as many whips as she does. And I am also limited in the fact that I only have so many frames and hoops, and I hate moving things out of frames and hoops. So really I have 5 cross-stitch whips, but I only have 3 of them on the go, because that's as many, like, of the right size frames that I have. And the other thing is that most of the time I know what I want to work on, and if I have to go by what the wheel says, I'm just not going to work on anything because I'm feeling, you know, grumpy and what's the word for it? Demand avoidance. Yeah, demand avoidance. So going entirely by wheel spins is also not going to work for me. So at the end of the day, I realized I don't, at this point, really need a gamified system for my whips, which is a little bit sad because I do really enjoy it. Crafty Gaming Jamie does it really, really well, and Rainbow Ange does it really, really well. But just me and my crafting where I'm at right now, I don't need it. So I'm just going to stick with, I have my Wheel of Whips up. I've been spinning that on stream. I think Fridays are going to be like my wheel spin days, because I usually have a little bit more energy to indulge the chaos. So I have my wheel up, but I think I'm just going to use it when I need it. When I'm not sure what I want to do, or I haven't decided what I want to craft. That's when I'm going to use the wheel instead of to decide every day what I'm going to work on. And then just go by vibes on what I want to get done on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I'm not going to do as much gamifying as I was previously, which is a little bit odd for me, but I think I'm more just going on vibes right now, which is okay. Definitely okay. But speaking of crafty gaming, Jamie, come here. Come here, you. Jamie, we're going to talk. Stop. Just stop showing all of these gorgeous full coverage pieces. It's the same thing with Stephanie. Stephanie was showing all these gorgeous Mirabilias, and I was like, oh, I really need to do a Mirabilia. And then I managed to talk myself out of that. And then friggin' Jamie is like, oh, here's all these gorgeous full coverage pieces. And I'm like, oh, I really need to do a full coverage piece. I don't need to do a full coverage piece. I don't really want to do a full coverage piece, especially not one of the myriad of Pain-Free Crafts ones that I've been seeing. The only full coverage piece I really want to do at this point is my Tangled Garden one. But they look so good. They look so good and so interesting. And it does seem like a definite challenge that I want to take on at some point. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my Tangled Garden at some point. At some point. Not sure when. But I'm kind of putting any thoughts of full coverage aside until I get that Tangled Garden done, because I think that's going to be a pretty good piece to start off on. It's a small size and it's only got 60 colors. But Crafty Gaming Jamie, you're on notice. Stop being so good at pretty things. I'm watching you. So what are my plans for May then? If I'm not doing Whipco, if I'm not doing Mirabilia May, if I'm not doing Monogamous May, if I'm not doing Manning May is another one I just heard about, Carolyn Manning designs. What are my plans for May? I want to get as far on Spooktacular Sampler as I can, but I'm also really feeling the urge to work on my Celtic Goddess, so I might be swapping those two out because I want to keep Deadly Aquarium in the rotation, because I do want to keep up with that. So Deadly Aquarium is kind of my daily stitching goal, and then Spooktacular, I'm going to work on that until the hyperfixation fades, and I'm going to switch over to Celtic Goddess. I am also probably going to start a new project relatively soon. I have the fabric, I have the floss for it, I just don't have the pattern yet. So please go buy something from the Etsy store so I can afford the pattern. But the one that I want to start is Dinosaur Forest by Al Forest Embroidery. I have been obsessed with this pattern since I saw it on a TikTok. I saw it on TikTok. It was not mentioned. The name of the pattern or the designer was not mentioned, but I immediately went on an internet deep dive to try and find it because I needed it. And it's gorgeous and I love it. And it's Al Forest, which opened up a whole new world. I had never heard of Al Forest before. But now I am obsessed because it's exactly my style of sampler with a twist. So I really want to start Dinosaur Forest at some point soon. I think that's going to be my next start. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I have an 18 count oatmeal Ada that I think would look really good as the background for this piece, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm not using the floss pack from Owl Forest. I swapped it out for DMC. So Owl Forest does offer their own DMC conversion, but I kind of did my own conversion. I have the Owl Forest color card, and then I actually matched it up with my own DMC colors, just to make like a little bit more of a cohesive palette specific to this project rather than like a generic, if you use this, use this. So this is more of a put together for this specific project, and I'm really excited about that. But yes, so plug the Etsy. Go check out my Etsy. I've got stuff. There's patterns. Buy something. Thank you. But speaking of the Etsy, the other plan is to get back to designing. I've taken a short break because I was kind of pushing myself too hard, and then I had some health setbacks. So this week, once we get the chair saga sorted out, I am going to hopefully be able to take some time and get back to designing patterns for the Etsy store. I have so many ideas. I've got more Phasmophobia ideas, more Valorant ideas, and just general ideas. Like I would love to make samplers. I'd love to make cute little things. I'd love to make big things. I love. So I am hoping to get back to designing. I'm hoping to get more stuff up in the Etsy shop shortly. So definitely watch that space, and I will do shop announcements on the Instagram and in the Discord, and in the live streams as well, whenever anything goes live like that. So yeah, I hope you'll stick around and definitely check out the Etsy, because I have a friend very generously gifted me a copy of WinStitch. So I have leveled up my technology for designing, which is very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. Community news. Let's move on to community news. There is a community. We're a cool community. You should join us. Discord, Twitch, YouTube. We have a great community of people who hang out, craft together, offer suggestions on. So if you do have an issue with your crafting, you can get helpful tips from a bunch of different people with a bunch of different experiences. We talk about gaming and cute animals. There are lots of snake pics in the Discord, if that is your jam, which I hope at this point it is. Live streams are continuing. They are usually Monday and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I am streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. So Twitch will store the VOD, which is the live replay of the live stream, for about a week. But all of them are available on YouTube under the live stream playlist. So you can always go back and watch those. They are great to just put on in the background when you're doing some crafting or some cleaning and you just need a little bit of noise that's not too it's not too interactive, but it's just interactive enough, which is exactly the vibe that I'm going for. So, and if you can join us live, I would be so happy to see you guys. I recently implemented closed captioning for my streams. So if you are hard of hearing, or if you have auditory processing issues and you need to wait for videos to have auto captions, I got you. The live streams are now automatically captioned. So you can come, you can join us, and you can be part of the community that way, because I do want this to be an accessible space for everyone. New video on the channel last Wednesday went up, the 24 hours of CrossStitch video. So I am hoping that you guys enjoyed that one. I had a lot of fun putting it together. I know I looked completely exhausted by the end of it. It was such a wild weekend, but I really enjoyed it. I haven't talked too much about 24 hours of CrossStitch in this video, mainly because I made that video. So definitely go check that out. And yeah, that's the new video. We will have another video coming out next Wednesday. It's either going to be my knitting science, where I test out different knitting methods, or it's going to be the project vlog for my little frog friend Croissant. I haven't decided yet. Kind of depends on what I manage to get filmed. So yeah, that's the community news. I hope you guys will continue coming to the live streams, and I hope you will continue hanging out in the Discord. I love waking up and seeing messages in the Discord. It makes my day every single time. Because it's like people are talking. Yay. It's not just me talking into the void. So I love you guys. All right, so that's about it. Right about now, you should be seeing some buttons popping up near my head. If you hit this one, you will subscribe to the channel, and if you click on one of these, you will be taken to another one of my videos, either one of the Cozycast or something else that'll probably interest you. And in the meantime, my friends, I will see you in the Discord. I will see you in the live streams. I will see you in the YouTube replays. And as always, I will see you in my heart. All right. Bye, guys.